In this video, I am going to share with you the single most important thing to create the financial future that you want. So, if it's your first time here, my name is Sharol. On this channel, I share all things spirituality and money. So, let's get to it. What is it? I'm trying to stop drinking coffee, so I'm drinking ginger tea instead. Yeah, give me a bit of a kick. Now, what is this thing? Well, it's really simple. It's called money management. Okay, so I learned this many years ago. My husband Anthony and we went to a seminar in Melbourne, and it was the seminar run by this guy called T. Harv Eker, and it was pretty great because one of the takeaways from that seminar was this money management system, and this is something that has really shaped mine and Anthony's finances. Um, it's been really critical because the reality is, if you can't manage a small amount of money, you certainly can't manage a large amount of money. And a lot of people have goals and aspirations to create wealth. However, they can't manage a small amount of money because they've simply never been taught. So, how do we do this? Well, basically, you've got 6 jars. And in these 6 jars, a certain percentage goes in each jar, and each jar is used for a particular purpose. So the first jar, which is the most important jar, is called the Financial Freedom Account. So FFA. Okay? Now, 10% of your income goes into this FFA account. And when this 10% comes in, you are never to spend it. Okay, so 10% comes in, and what are you going to do with it? Well, it's purely for investment purposes. So whether that is to buy some stocks, some ETFs, to buy an investment property, whatever you want to invest in, this is the fund with the money that you use, because you do need money to grow your money, and you want to get to a place where you can actually get your money working for you. Now, so that's FFA. The next account is the education fund. So 10% of your income goes into this education fund. And in this education fund, its purpose is basically for things like coaching, mentoring, books, courses, any kind of educational material to grow yourself and to educate yourself on how you can grow that FFA fund. Okay, so you need to learn how to invest. And Warren Buffett said it, like, the single greatest investment that you can make is in yourself. Okay, so initially it may not be something that tangible, but then you want to invest in other things as well that can give you, where you're acquiring a certain skill set to grow your money. But first, don't forget this, it does start with you. Okay, so make sure you work on you first and then get those skills to be able to do that, because you do need the right mindset. Now, the third account, okay, so the third account is the play account. So you've got 5% of your income that you are, is it 5 or 10? I think it's 10. No, 10% of your income that you need to put into this account, and this is purely for you to play with. And you can blow it on absolutely anything that you want. And you need to blow this money, okay? This is, you have a license to blow this money. And this is really important because there's a certain energy that's involved with being abundant and being able to just spend on things that we otherwise perhaps may not spend on. So to allow ourselves to do that and to actually make ourselves do that because it's really important. It's all well and good to be wealthy, but if you can't spend on things that you want, well, what's the point, right? So that's your play account. 10% of your income comes in to your play account, and it's for you to blow. Go out for those expensive dinners, buy that super expensive whatever that you want, okay, that you've been saving up. That's your play account. The next account is day-to-day expenses called necessities. So your necessities, ideally, we want it at, 55% or lower. The lower, the better. So depending on what your income is to begin with, these percentages will vary slightly. And that's okay, right? So these are targets that we can work towards, and we want to tailor it to suit ourselves and our lifestyle as well. But don't neglect any one of these buckets, okay, or jars, or whatever you want to call them, accounts. So that's the next account, and that's things like your bills, your mortgage, or your rent, or I don't know, food bill, things like this. Okay, so your telephone, your, I don't know if anyone says telephone anymore, mobile, I guess. Yeah, things like that. Day-to-day expenses will come out of your necessities account. So we are up to 10% in FFA, 10% in education. You've got 10% in play, which is money for you to blow. You've got 55% in necessities, and that's for your day-to-day expenses. And then what are the other two jars? Well, so part of indulging and allowing ourselves to spend and feel abundant, that's one aspect. And the other thing is also we want to always feel like we have enough to give, because, and this is really important, because we're not on this planet just for ourselves or ourselves and our family. We are here for everyone, and when whatever money we make, it should not just only be for our benefit or the benefit of those around us, but for the benefit of all. And investing 5% of your income into any charity, just donating, giving it away with no expectation in return. I know a lot of people do tax write-offs and things like this. If you want to do that, that's up to you. However, the volition that you give it should be pure. So, giving with a really pure heart, it's really beneficial, because if you don't have if you can't give 5% of what you're making now, it's really unlikely that when you do get to those millions, are you actually going to give 5%? If you're not building the habit now, it's probably really unlikely that you're going to do that. And life, there's so much joy in giving, and give 5% to whatever you believe in, whether that's the dog shelter, the cat haven, anything that you believe in, okay, for the benefit of others beyond ourselves and those that we look after. So that leaves us with one more account, and that is the long-term savings for spending. So 10% of our income goes into this LTSS account, long-term savings for spending account, and this is for your holidays, this is for your large purchases, things that you want to buy, this is for a rainy day. This account is really your savings account, okay? So that's what you want to use that account for. Now, to give you a recap, the first account, pay yourself first. That is financial freedom, FFA. That money you never spend, you want to grow, and the money that you make from that goes back into the system with the same percentages. The education fund, 10% goes into education, and that 10% means investing in yourself, making yourself better, okay? Whatever that is, invest in yourself. And then the third account that we spoke about is the play account. So 10% to absolutely blow. Go out on some fancy dinner, go do whatever you think is ridiculous that you want to do, because you can and because you have to spend all of this money, okay? And the fourth account is your necessities. So this is your day-to-day expenses, bills, mortgage, rent, etc. And the fifth account is your give account. 5% of your income goes into give, and give with a pure volition. The sixth account is your long-term savings for spending. So long-term savings for spending are things like a rainy day, your holiday, things like that. So there you go. So this is a really, 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 I can't emphasize this, it is so important to actually come up with a money management system. If you find that these percentages, this system isn't working for you, come up with your own. The idea is you want to work with the laws, so you want to make sure that you're feeding every part of yourself, you're nurturing every part of yourself as a being with your money, and also you're working with the laws of the universe. And there's different money management systems. In Australia, there was what was his name, the guy that wrote the book Barefoot Investor, whatever his name was. He had 3 different buckets that he would put money into. It's a money management system. If that works for you, go ahead, do that. Do something. Just manage your money. Come up with your system and stick to it. It's a plan, stick to it. And one thing that I will say is, when Anthony and I first started doing this, initially you're putting like small amounts of money into these different accounts, and it doesn't look like it's moving that much. However, you give it 1, 2, 3 years and you would be really surprised with how much progress you can make in 3 years by following this system. So below I will leave some links to the book Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. That's T. Harv Eker's book. I'll leave a link to his blog post of this money management system, and also the Barefoot Investor. If that's something you want to check out, it's worth checking out until you find one that's right for you. One thing that I found really helpful was to actually create separate accounts for each jar and have separate bank accounts. You don't need a transaction card for each account. However, having those separate accounts and separating out that money is very useful, because mentally you know how much you have. So I hope you find this video really helpful. If you do, or you found this video really helpful, and if you did, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you want to hear next. Also, if you haven't checked out my video on how to think and grow rich, make sure you check that video out, because it's a pretty special one.